Good morning, everybody. I'm just walking out my new apartment in Brazil. I just got moved in about a week ago. Uh, Absolutely loving it. The people are amazing. It's a little cloudy out today, but overall, the weather is amazing and it's great. I'm loving it out here. But I got a question for y'all today. How are you feeling? How did you wake up today? Did you wake up excited and ready to start the day, ready to take it on and see what it has for you? Or were you hard to get out of bed, not really looking forward to what you have to do, and kind of dreading the tasks that you have ahead of yourself? If you're anything like the last one I just mentioned, I can completely relate. Just a few months ago, that's how I was feeling every day. And I understand it's not really how anybody should want to feel. But unfortunately, it seems like more and more people are finding themselves like that every day. And that's what we're here to talk about today. I believe that the things we do on a daily basis should be things that we value, the things that we care about. They make us feel alive. And while they might not always be the most enjoyable things, right? Sometimes we're going to have days where it's like, damn, this is going to be tough. I don't know if I really want to do this, but I care about it. So I'm going to get over that and I'm going to do it, versus fulfilling some role in society or working for some company that you don't really care about and you don't really value. You're not aligned with that. And now, after last week's video, hopefully you saw that. If you didn't, go check it out. But hopefully now we are able to tell ourselves a better story. We're able to have better thoughts internally. But in order to solidify that, for that to be a normal, sustainable thing, we have to take the internal and put it towards the external. So we have to start taking actions and creating a life for ourselves that mirrors what we have internally, the things that we care about, the things that we value. So if we don't do that, it just, we all have potential. Everybody has something that they're good at, something that they care about. And if we're not living up to that, then life can quickly become pretty disappointing, and nobody likes wasted potential. That sucks. But don't worry, my friend. I'm not going to let that happen to anybody watching this today. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about my life story a little bit, how I created an escape plan, and how you can create your own escape plan today, and how you're able to apply that to your life and switch from living a life that you're not really satisfied with to a life that you're looking forward to, that you generally are excited to wake up every day and ready to take it on.
All right, and now we teleported to my room. Welcome. So, back to the point of the topic though. One of my first articles was about the beauty of rock bottom. And when I wrote about this, I don't think I actually made a YouTube video on it, but it's on my blog. And in this story, I talked about my own personal story with rock bottom, and I also talked about a couple famous examples like Robert Downey Jr., Mike Tyson, J.K. Rowling. But the point that I was making was that rock bottom, while it sucks, it might be bad, but the circumstances and the energy within it can be used as fuel to get you off your ass and get you to take action to change your life. At the time of writing that article, I was kind of in a similar place. Life has its peaks and troughs. And while I was writing that for the sake of the people reading it so that I can inspire others to, feel motivated regardless of where they are, even if they're that low, I was also writing it as a reminder to myself. And that reminder was what I needed to get my life together again. I had been there before and I could get out of there again. But where exactly was I? Definitely not at rock bottom. If I had been there again, there would definitely be a big problem there. But, stuff happens, not judging. But while I had been doing the internal work to get my life together, the external kind of outcomes of my day to day were still there. I was still kind of going through everyday life like I was still at rock bottom. Old habits die hard. My confidence was much higher, but I wasn't really expressing it. I wasn't taking risks or facing rejection. I wasn't putting myself in those circumstances. I had ideas, but I was not yet acting on them. I knew that I needed a change, but I was just so exhausted with my current responsibilities. My job was exhausting me, the bills I had to pay, the day to day. It was just overwhelming to even think about making changes and getting out of that spot. While I had been doing the internal mental work, I was studying mental health, studying psychology, so I could kind of do it yourself, fix my issues. But I needed to take action to actually make the changes in my life. You really can only do so much internal work, but you get to a certain point where in order to solidify the good internal state, you got to start putting action into the external world. They're really not sustainable for very long, one without the other. Having a good internal space, but tough external circumstances, it's going to be tough to maintain that. And the same goes for the other way around, right? If you're having tough internal circumstances, it's going to be pretty hard to sustain good external circumstances. So, I knew I needed to make the change, and I finally realized that I was fed up and I refused to continue living in the way that I was. I declared, no more, I'm done, I'm making a change. But I needed a plan. I decided to consider every aspect of my life and create a plan that would assess all of my problems. I knew that I was lonely, I was unhappy with my work, and I was taking absolutely zero risks. So I got to creating this plan when I first made a choice. I made the choice to accept some truths. It was true that I used to have extremely bad anxiety to the point where I damn near had a panic attack anytime I had to just interact with a cashier or a worker at a store. It was true that I was once really depressed and I had very low motivation to do anything. And that's kind of the crux of depression, that is you have to do things to get better, but depression robs you of the energy to actually want to do those things. And it was true that some messed up things did happen in my past, and I kind of was living in assumption that my future would follow a similar pattern. Now, the most important truth that I accepted was that I could not live my life like that for the rest of my life. I needed to change, so I chose to accept that those things were true, but I would take responsibility for them, not blame anybody else, not hang on to that, not keep repeating that same story to myself, and I would do the work to heal and move on from all that. And this led to the creation of my escape plan. The first draft changed a lot from the beginning, but for the most part, it ended up being similar, if that even makes sense, but it's true. And I just had more specific goals. The final draft of my escape plan contained moving to Brazil, getting an online job, creating a website and posting consistent content, saving 10K, and to keep my blood sugar in range 90% of the time. And within all of these goals, they contained a lot of small steps I needed to take and also some habits and skills I needed to develop, such as learning Portuguese and changing my diet in order to accomplish these larger goals. So now let's talk about how I made my escape plan. Once I got real with myself and I understood what I didn't want my future to be like, I had to picture what my ideal future would look like. And I needed to plan goals that would get me the results. The following questions are exactly what I asked myself in order to create my plan and follow it through. And I'm just going to tell you my thought process and the way that I answered these questions. And you're just going to do exactly what I did and pretty much just using me as an example. The first thing I asked myself was, what do I want? Now, for me, the answer was ideally, my life is going to be unconventional. I will have financial freedom and locational freedom. I can come and go as I please while bringing my business with me and making a decent, solid level of income. The business will benefit others and have a positive impact on the world. I will have a physically fit body and a healthy mind while maintaining tight control of my blood sugar and my diabetes. Lastly, I will have fulfilling relationships with my friends and family and find a compatible partner to build a healthy, loving family of my own with. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what do you want? The second thing that I asked myself was, what do I need to do? Clearly, I have a pretty ambitious outlook on my future, and to get there, I'm going to need to take some big steps. To be able to manifest all those things, I will need to conquer my mind, find my purpose, and learn to love myself and others. I know for sure that I possess the potential to accomplish these big goals. And I understood that self sabotage was the main obstacle that would be keeping me from accomplishing them. So, by doing the three things that I just mentioned, I figured it would diminish any resistance that my ego would have. So, what do you need to do? The third thing, how will I do it? Well, it mainly comes down to accountability and visualization. Any one of these goals can be pretty easily broken down into the necessary steps to achieve them. However, actually following through with them is the hardest part. Obviously, right? Because otherwise, everyone would have their ideal life. So I knew I needed to write out my goals, practice things that were good for my mental health, avoid my vices as much as possible, and consistently visualize the future that I did want while also visualizing the future that I did not want. So this meant doing things like delaying gratification, journaling, meditating, and visualizing, and a lot more. So, how will you do it? Lastly, number four, will I stay accountable? A key factor to following through on all these things was taking a total accountability. After all, there's nobody forcing me to do this. I want to do these things. I need to do these things because they're the right things for myself and for everyone around me, for the entire world, really. This required me being accountable for everything and taking the necessary actions, especially when I did not feel like it. I also needed to take accountability for when I failed to make the right choices and when I made the wrong choices. A really great lecture, which is also a book, that helped me understand this was Extreme Ownership, and that is by the Navy SEAL Jocko Willink. This lecture is all about taking ownership for every aspect of your life, and while it is absolutely crucial to becoming your best self and to becoming a leader, will you stay accountable? And that's all the steps. Now, for me, after following all those steps, I stayed accountable. I accomplished everything I set out to achieve after 9 months. I moved to Brazil. I made a website and consistently uploaded content to it. I got an online job. I saved 10K and I kept my blood sugar in range 90% of the time. Internally, I feel so much less anxiety and stress, definitely not depressed, and I have much better control of my mind, great health, great fitness, and I feel more confident than I have in my entire life. I proved to myself that I can create a plan and see it through. You can do the exact same thing, follow those steps, and let's see exactly what you can accomplish when you set a solid plan, you stay accountable, and in a few months' time, you will surprise yourself. I promise. And before I let y'all go, I do think there's two important things that you should be aware of. One, this plan does not need to be perfect by any means. A lot of times, we feel unable to take action because we feel like we have to take the right action, the perfect action. We need to know what's going to get us the right results. But the thing is, we don't know. There's no guarantees, except for the fact that if you put in the effort, you're going to get somewhere. You're not going to stay stuck. No effort is going to keep you in the same place. Sit down, write the plan out. It really shouldn't take more than an hour, and accept that it's not going to be perfect and it's going to change as you go. Mine did many times until I got the final product, and those things are okay. And the second thing is baby steps. So we're gonna have these big goals, but we're not just gonna go from 0 to 100 real quick. But you gotta have humility, okay? You're not gonna become a completely different person in a couple days or a few weeks, maybe even a few months. It's not gonna happen. Uh, you gotta understand that large changes in everything, whether it's life, health, mindset, are all compromised. Yes, that's the right word. Of small steps that lead towards the big change. And if you're out of shape and not going to the gym at all, start going for 30 minutes 3 days a week. You don't need to be in there doing a crazy David Goggins style workout 7 days a week. Okay, that is not realistic at all. And even if you did that, I really don't think it'd get you where you want to be. You'd probably quit. So just take your time. You're not going to become a bodybuilder going 30 minutes 3 days a week, but you're damn sure going to be better than where you're at, which is doing nothing. Take pride in your effort and give yourself some grace. You're doing things. Be proud that you're starting, regardless of how small that may be. And that's it. That's all I got for y'all today. I appreciate y'all checking out the content as always. If you made it this far, you're a G. Um, I felt really good sharing that part of my life with y'all. And I really want y'all to know that it is possible. No matter where you are right now, forget about that, okay? Let it go, accept it, and just know where you want to be and also know where you don't want to be. You definitely don't want to be where you are right now. You got nothing to lose. Write the plan, start doing some stuff, baby steps, and you will definitely change your life. I know you can do it. Good luck, everybody. Take care.